when you look at WWE and you look at how they operate and the countries they go to and their TV, where their TV shows, and I mean, AEW, they're nowhere close to that. Not saying they can't get there.
I believe the only other matchup that we haven't got to is Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Logan Paul versus what are you doing? What did you just dip? No, two last matches. I don't know. I'm moving on. I'm going to move on. Logan Paul versus Ricochet, and then we also got the Intercontinental Championship, your favorite, Gunther, defending against Drew McIntyre. Of course, we can expect that one to be hard-hitting action. We can expect the Logan Paul and Ricochet one to be more high-flying. What do you think about these two matchup? Who do you think wins with those? And how does the Logan Paul matchup help out Ricochet facing someone on that star of status?
I want my guy, Gunther, to go over because he is a work in progress. Drew McIntyre has been around 10 years at least. 10 years, and I think we've seen all that Drew can do at this point, unless he turns heel, and I don't want to see that either. But I think Gunther over straight up. I don't know if they'll try to. I don't know the economic value of even having Drew get screwed. You know what I mean? I think if Gunther's going to beat him, he just beats him. And the first match is Logan Paul. And I've been thinking about this, by the way. The version we tried to record last week, seeing as how I was in St. Augustine with some crappy internet connections. But you said that, and I predicted Ricochet. That was my first pick. You picked Logan Paul. Under a lot of careful consideration and thought and debate amongst myself and my fake Dutch over here, I talk to myself a lot, but I'm agreeing with you now. I think Logan Paul will win this, and it will be a hell of a match. And I predicted, I've already predicted a draw on one of these cards, but it's not going to happen. But I think Logan Paul over, and I think they'll have a hell of a match. I think people expect Ricochet to lose anyway. So losing one more, damn sure won't hurt him with Logan Paul.
No, especially if. And
I wish the best. I wish the best for Ricochet. But I think him and Logan Paul will burn it down.
And especially if they have him get the one-up on Logan Paul on the go-home Raw, that he dominated the build. So it only makes sense for Logan Paul to then win at the pay-per-view with that as well. So I agree with both of your picks there for those final two matches. The only other matchup we didn't predict is the SummerSlam Battle Royale. But I think we all know whose name is going to be said as the winner of the SummerSlam Battle Royal. And we all know his name. It's LA Knight. Dutch?
Yep, that's right.
No, you missed your opportunity. You were supposed to say, yeah.
Well, hell, I forgot it was even on the card. I've been up there with no internet connection. I've been down flying, but wait a minute. L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
And L.A. Knight, I got to say this about him. Yeah. I got to say this about him. They give him this other stuff that didn't work. I think as a last resort, he said, guys, let me go do my stuff. let me go do it. I know this stuff. They said, all right, try it. And he went out there, got beat every week, but he was still doing LA Knight, and it got over. He went from Max Dupree to LA Knight flawlessly, seamlessly. So, and he's over. He's over big time. He just walks out there and they stand up. That's why I felt the first time I saw him, the way he walked out there, I felt a little Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin vibes with him. Because I don't know why, but who said he's reminds him of The Rock too? I don't. Does he remind you of The Rock?
It's more of his bravado and the way that he cuts down his opponent or his rival. Austin would just say, I'm gonna open up a can of whoop ass on you, while The Rock would say, oh, you got funny ears, you got funny eyes, you got funny there. LA Knight is more like that, where he told, oh, look, we got a guy in the ring who got famous off of making movies for 14-year-olds. That's a Rock line. That's not an Austin line, but his delivery is Austin.
Oh, it is. It's good. But I feel him more as he may be a combination of both of them. He took the best of each one and incorporated it, but it's working. It's working with him. I first saw him probably in 2016, 2017, maybe, in TNA. He was good then. Very good.
Yep. Doing his thing, and I think we all are rooting for him to win the SummerSlam Battle Royal at SummerSlam. But that is all for the preview. Got a couple of quick bites, feedback that we got to get from Dutch Mantell on a couple of different stories. We got Ric Flair, your favorite person in the world, Ric Flair, Dutch Mantell, who has recently said,
how dare you bring his name up to me?
Speaking of Logan Paul, we have Ric Flair, who recently said, I believe on his podcast, that Logan Paul is better than 70% of the WWE roster. Now, who would you say is in that group that is better than Logan Paul? Let's ask that question. And what do you think overall of one of the greats, Ric Flair, saying that about Logan Paul and what that means?
Well, as much as I hate to say this, I think he is better than 50%. I don't know the 70%, but that's just opinion anyway. But Logan Paul, he has it. He has presence. He can talk. But to top all that off, he can perform. And who would have thought this guy in the business, how long has he been in the business? A year, maybe? He took this business 6 months, 8 months, 9 months?
Yeah,
2 years?
Logan Paul debuted at WrestleMania 38 last year.
Okay, so he got a year. But look at what he can do, because he's an athlete and highly, I mean, he is advanced fast because he's an athlete and he understands the game. See, a lot of guys get into wrestling and don't really understand what they're doing. Oh, they can do moves, but they don't really understand the story they're trying to tell. He understands the story. Plus, he can do it. And as much as I hate to say, I'm kind of in agreement with him, I'm not in agreement with the 70%. Because I wouldn't want to be Ric Flair walking into a WWE dressing room when he thinks that like 70% of them are the you know. But I will say he's probably better than half of them. So I'm kind of in agreement, but I'm not in agreement on the number. Continue.
That's fair. So we got some news that just dropped because recently Cody Rhodes' Peacock documentary released on July 31st, which followed the story of Cody becoming the American Nightmare he is today and his journey to WrestleMania. Obviously, a major part of Cody's story involves his time in All Elite Wrestling and his shocking departure from the company in January 2022. And Cody's departure from AEW led to his return at WrestleMania 38, which Cody discussed the reasons around his departure in the documentary. Cody said that he left AEW due to a personal reason and not because of money or any other talent as has been speculated in the past. He then said that by a byproduct of him leaving AEW allowed him to go after the biggest and first dream he ever had in his life. This was followed up by a comment by none other than WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H, who discussed Cody's return, claiming that Cody didn't grow up wanting to be the champion or the face of a secondary promotion. Do you think that Triple H saying this was a strategic thing to kind of, paint that as, putting, AEW in their place? Is this another one of WWE's times they make a slide comment about AEW that Triple H has done in the past? Or do you think that this came from a more, honest place?
Hard to say, but AEW got out of WWE what TNA could never get out of them. They never mentioned TNA. And when he says that AEW, what do you call them? What organization?
Secondary promotion. Secondary.
Well, it is a secondary promotion because when you look at WWE and you look at how they operate and the countries they go to and their TV, where their TV shows, and AEW, they're nowhere close to that. Not saying they can't get there, but I think I would like to know how Cody got to WWE myself. And I don't know what personal reason that he could have, to my knowledge, of why he wanted to turn his back on Tony Khan and AEW. But he may have, I don't know. I'm going to have to put my investigative team out on this, and I'm going to have to dig deep down into the archives of people's brains and figure out, why do you think he left? What was the beef?
I don't think I don't think there was a beef or anything like that. It's been reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Cody and the Young Bucks actually talk quite often these days. So I don't think there's any beef or any issues between him and the Elite, as was previously kind of speculated in the past. I think it came down to Cody's contract was coming up. He wanted a number that pretty much AEW had given to other top stars they had recently signed, whether it's CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, and didn't value Cody Rhodes on the same level as those guys. And Cody wanted to go Cody's stock was bigger than ever at that point, and he got probably the number he was looking for and probably more from WWE, as well as trying to chase that dream. Like he said, his first and biggest dream he ever had was to be the WWE champion, the title his dad never held.
Who do you think Cody went through? You think he talked to Vince? This is when Vince was still there, right?
Yeah, they talk about that in the documentary, and they talk about how Vince McMahon flew to his house, and Vince don't do that every day for just about anybody. There's a good documentary that I'm sure that we're going to get more and more stories out of in the weeks to come, but we'll talk about that in the near future.